Right, g'day gents. In this video we're going to look at how to construct this little roof and we're going to use this roof truss detail that you see in front of you now. It's a very simple profile. So if we have a look at the truss detail, you'll see we've got a tar beam, a king post, and then two rafters running at a 30-degree pitch. Alright, so what I've done to start off here is not to draw the floor plan in. I've just done a part section of, well, a part of the wall. We're going to start developing our ceiling and roof above this point. Okay, excuse my unneat breaks, but we're going to go from here. So the very first thing we need to do is set up our wall plates, and from the wall plates we're going to develop the ceiling. So in fact what we're going to do is we're going to imagine that we're actually building this roof up as if we were in construction, and we're going to start with wall plates, with tar beam, we'll put our brandering in place, and then our ceiling board on. Okay, so if we have a look here, right, we'll see that the wall plate is a 121 by 38 millimeter wall plate. Okay, and I'm gonna do the construction first in a orange colored pencil. Right, so a 121 in this case, with the scale, if I'm correct, the scale is 1:50 in this particular drawing. So let me write this on the page. The scale is 1:50, right? So we're going to go wall plate. It should be 121 divided by 50. Let's do that again. 121 divided by 50 gives me a total of 2.42, so 2.5 millimeters, which is actually half the distance of the wall. So let me take a ruler that's going to give me something to work with here. So we got 2.5, so that's pretty much half the distance. I'm just going to send a little bit of a construction line up from that point. I'll do the same on this side, on the center of the wall then. There we go. Yeah, 5 it is, so 2.5 is perfect. Completely centered. Again, I'm just going to send that up. Right, and then it's 38 millimeters of thickness. So we're going to go 38 divided by 50 equals 0.76. So we're going to make that 38 1 millimeter at least, right? Just so that there is some depth to this. Okay, so I'm going to make it 1 millimeter, or even I might just push it out to 1.5 so that we see enough of it. Right, so I'm just going to bring that across just ever so slightly. So a little bit there, just make sure I overlap the wall, enough of a construction. There we go. And then if I complete that over there, there is my wall plate, right, in position. Right, I'll talk about convention in a moment. So the wall plate is in position. And now what I need to do is go add some brandering battens, which are going to be 38 by 38. Now I started with a line constructed across here, which is actually going to form my ceiling board. So it's actually quite nice to go ahead and get that on. Okay. Before we add the brandering, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send a construction line across the wall plates at the top. So let me just make sure I line that up nicely with my ruler here. And just send a nice construction line along the top. So in this space here, what we're going to have is ceiling board, tar beam, and we're going to have the brandering in between, attaching the ceiling board to the tar beam. So we've got a 38 by 38, and they want it spaced appropriately. If you read the instructions, it wants two 38 by 38 spaced appropriately. So because we're working in a small space here, we can sort of eyeball the third here. We can even start next to the wall plates. You can do one on that wall plate, one there. But you can see there's this position slightly away from the wall plate. So if you were to divide this into 3, we could put one there, and we could put one there. So in an exam, you don't want to be spending too much time trying to measure. You want to be able to naturally assign things equidistant with a bit of your own good proportion. Okay, so I'm going to go, that was a millimeter, so I'm kind of going to go, I'm going to use 2 here, and I'm going to go left and right, and then for this one, this marker here, I'm going to go left and right, left and right. Okay, and if I send those lines up, right, that will be our brandering in place. Okay, right, so whilst that's in place, what we're going to do is we're going to go and add some outline to the things we can for now. All right, so I'm going to take the wall, I'm going to do the wall plate, and the ceiling board is one line. Okay, I'm going to go up to the top here, and I'm going to do the ceiling board, right? Or it's not the ceiling board, sorry, the tar beam above the wall plates, all the way across the brandering to the end of the other wall plate, right? And here I can go in and I can go and outline the wall plate there and on the right, and then I can do the branding in the middle. Okay. Now we need to show that in convention, and in freehand in such a small space you just need to go get some diagonals from opposite corners to show the section for these wooden features cut along the short edge. Okay, so there we have it. You'll see now what I'm going to do is just add some extension to my wall in construction here. Good. The next thing I shall do, right, is add some depth here, or height, to my tie beam, and it shows you here that all, if I'm correct here, does it give us a size or a spec? Yes, 114. So 114 is the size of the tie beam. So I'm going to go 114 divided by 50. That equals 2.2. So I'm actually going to go with 3, just to give it a little bit more. Obviously, you could go 2.5 if you wanted to, but I'm going to go up 3 mils, and I'm going to keep 3 mils for 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to keep 3 mils for every time I add a new feature of wood to this. Okay, so there's my my tie beam across the top there. Okay, so I'm going to keep that in construction for now because I want to work in some of the other features. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the rafters, okay, at the pitch of 30. And to place that rafter, you want to be looking at the top outside corner of the left, so the top outside left for the left wall plate, and the top outside right for the right wall plate. And what we want to do here, by given the angle of 30 degrees over here, we want to go and draw a line tangential to that outside corner at 30 degrees. Okay, I want to go to this end, and I want to do the same thing. So the top outside corner, of the right outside corner there, and I want to go draw a line at 30 degrees. Okay, that is giving us the pitch for the roof. Then, with that, I want to go and add a thickness to that of 114. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to give myself a bit of a reference off there, and nice and light. You can hardly see this, remember. Get a bit of baby powder on here because drawing is starting to absorb some pencil. And 114 again we said is 3. All right, so I'm going to use my ruler again, and I'm going to measure 3 mils to get the thickness of that. All right, 1, 2, and 3 is the thickness there. Going to come across to this side, and I'm going to do 3 mils as well. Let's go. 1, 2, and 3. There it is. I may have done this one slightly bigger than it should have been. 1, 2. It's just a little bit bigger than 3. Then I'm going to take my set square. I'll then obviously just run a construction line up to the top from the left, and a construction line from the right. Okay. So you can run this a bit darker so you can see it. There we go. Then I'm going to, by using the center here, so I'm going to just add that in. By just using the center here, I'm going to go left and right of that center. Okay, we've called it, remember, 3 millimeters as being the width of the each panel of wood here that makes up the roof. So we now need to go get the king post in. So what we're going to do is find a center point, and we're going to go 1.5 left and 1.5 to the right. So 1.5 to the left, 1.5 to the right of that. So I'm going to use that there. So we're going to go 1.5 left, 1.5 right. Okay, and we will send that up. Here it is. Okay, so the wood and the profile of all those features sits perfectly together. And what I'm going to do before I give it outlines is I'm going to go put in by freehand truss plates. So 121 by 38, we should be able, so let's have a look here. If we go 121 divided by 50 equals 2.5, and 38 again is going to be 1. So if we go 2.5 by 1, we should be able to eyeball that. Okay, and use our own. You can even just bring your ruler next to it to get an idea. But what we have to do is, where these overlap, we need to go put in a truss plate. You will also refer to as gang nails. I'm going to put one here to overlap all 3, just small enough. I'm going to come to this corner here to overlap here. And I'm going to come to these 2 panels or pieces of wood to overlap. Okay, these are metal, if you like, square metal plates with a lot of teeth, or rectangular metal plates with these like little teeth or nails that protrude from them, in which you can tack those pieces of wood together in that profile. Okay, so there we go. Now before we carry on, we're going to go add the purlins. The purlins are 75 by 38. Okay, so if we go 75 divided by 50, that gives us 1.5, 1.5, and then again, just to ensure we're correct, 38 divided by 50 gives us 0.7. So what I'm going to do is 2 by 1. I'm going to go 2 by 1 for that. So spaced appropriately, and the question wants 2 on the left and it wants 2 on the right pitch. Okay, 2 on the left, 2 on the right pitch. So what we need to do before we position those or draw them in is go find out where this truss ends, and you will see that there's a 400 millimeter overhang. All right, so what I'll do here is just going to come off there with a line, and I'm going to go measure 400 millimeters divided by 50. 400 divided by 50, that gives me a total of 8 millimeters, right? So I'm going to come in here, measure 8, do a line up from there, intersecting that piece of wood, right? Then what I can do is carry that across. So I can carry where that wood ends to across to there, and you can see here I can just lift that up nicely. There we go. We're going to need some more baby powder, okay, for my ruler. Right, there we have it. So we've got the overhang in, so that means we can start with our 2 by 1 purlins. So how will I do this? I'm going to use my 60-degree set square here, because that will sit perpendicular to the 30-degree pitch of my rafter. And I'm going to eyeball about 2 millimeters there, right, and then 1 millimeter across. I'm going to make a mark. I believe that's about 1, and then I'm going to make that mark. What I'll do here is I'll carry this to the top, so I'm going to take that all the way to the top there, right? That's the height, and then I'm going to come off the apex of the roof in the same angle, then measure my 1 millimeter. I'm going to eyeball it with my 1.5, 1 millimeter sort of, and then add it in. I'm not measuring those, I'm not being overly precise, because in an exam you want to even do these freehand. You want to be able to, you almost want to be able to do small features that are 2 by 1s without even having to measure, to be honest. We're going to come across here to, oh, I've gone and done it in the wrong place, as you can see. That is where my overhang is over here. Apologies for that. There it is there. So we're going to go out there. I'll bring that back down now to rescue me a little bit. There. And then I reckon that's about 1 mil. So we can come in there. There it is. So ignore that. Okay, ignore that there. Because that's the overhang. And that's where that panel of wood is going to end over there. Okay, same thing on this side. So what I'll do is the same thing. I will measure what I think is about 2 mils. And if you want to be very precise, you can carry that across that point. You can carry across to there. Sorry, you can bring it across slightly more. Just bring it across. But you can see how hard that fits. We've obviously got a bit of leverage in moving of our set square, or our set square, yeah. So I'm going to T-square as well. I'm going to bring that across. And then I'm going to go to the apex of the roof, pull that across there. I can sort of just eyeball that across again for the same thickness or the same width. And then again, you can see where this thickness is. I can come in again here about a millimeter or about 2 mils. So there it is. And then obviously in construction, it says here that there's an overhang of about 65. I divide that by 50 and it's about 1 point something. So I can eyeball that overhang to just beyond. Okay, so there, and just over, so I can just come somewhere just over on that line and then take it up as the roof. Now I'm going to go and add all those features in dark and show you what overlaps, what doesn't. I'm going to fill the cavity first. So I'm going to take there's a cavity between the rafter here and the roof. And so what I'll do is I'll pull that up there. So we're going to finish the wall all the way to the roof line. There it is. Wall to roof line. There it goes. Right, then you can work either which way. I know that the roof won't be interfered with in terms of positioning. Okay, so we're going to go all the way across. This is just roof material because of the scale. I don't have to draw any thickness to it. Okay. Right, and then we're going to come further down, but as we do that, I'm going to use freehand for my purlins. Okay, freehand for my purlins. There we go. And I'm just going to get my diagonals in there to show. Right, that one on at the top left there is not very sexy at all. Right, then I'm going to go ahead, draw, overlap, send that to the top of that rafter. Let's go from the top this time as well. Draw, stop in line with the wall, and send to the bottom of the purlin. Right, I'm going to do the same on this end. I'm going to pull that up, stop in line with the wall, right, and then I'm going to allow that to dominate the proceedings here. It's going to overlap the tower beam, and it's going to head all the way to that truss plate. I'm going to do the same thing here. We're going to overlap with that, so all the way, stop at the wall plate, continue through, right, and then can end it there, go across and end it over there at the overhang. So that's the, these are the two trusses, and then obviously the two trusses meet at a definite outline over there. Then I will bring the king post down to the tower beam, right, and then I'm going to run that line on the tower beam from the rafter to in line with that, and so I come into contact, with that gang nail or that truss plates, and then run it all the way along to that rafter. Now everything's in place. All you need to do is remember your wall hatching, which is your 45s. I'll do them very quickly. Your 45s, two in a space. Okay. All the way up to the roof. That's how you do a roof, a very simple roof like that, just a king post, two rafters, and a tie beam. You might have a slightly different profile in an exam. However, if there is, it won't be too many more parts to this profile. Alright, I hope this has helped you guys. Good luck.